And Prep Recruiting Insider is pleased to be back at Nola Motorsports Park in Avondale for a second consecutive season. With karting, autocross, racing, and training, it's the place for all things in motorsports. It is also the home of the 2015 Indy Grand Prix of Louisiana, coming April 10 through 12, 2015, and we'll see another segment about that at the end. And welcome to Prep Recruiting Insider. I'm Rick Gailey, the coach of PRI, and we're so pleased to be here with our Prep Recruiting Insider, Renee Nadeau. Renee, welcome. Another great show ahead.
A highly interesting show we're going to have, okay? We're going to have Holy Cross on, Eric Robato, and some players are being recruited. And we're going to have Richard Dickey Lyons, played at Holy Cross and played at Kentucky, had a great career there. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on here at Nola Motorsports. So a full-packed one-hour show. You don't want to miss any of it.
Just as we do every week here on PRI, tons and tons of content. This week, not only with football, but with some auto racing as well, with the Grand Prix of Louisiana coming up. I'm really interested, Renee, to talk to Richard Lyons, or as he was at Kentucky, Dickey Lyons Jr. I've happened to know his family for a long period of time, and he was a great player at Holy Cross and is still very close to the program. It's also amazing how Holy Cross has rebuilt itself from Katrina, one of the more amazing stories in New Orleans.
Really has, and Eric Robato's done a really, really outstanding job. Has a very competitive team this year, a team that really is going to make a lot of headway into the playoffs, I think. So it's going to be interesting to have a chance to talk with him and see where this program is going.
And I'm really interested because I know the challenges of being a first-year coach. This is Eric's first year as the head coach at Holy Cross, following a legend, Barry Wilson, before, who has laid a solid groundwork. And he's continued the tradition of Holy Cross football, and they have the great American rivalry next week, and we'll talk a lot more about that. And that when WHNO will be carrying that, not just on tape delay, but live as well. So some wonderful information for you today on recruiting, on Holy Cross High School, and how they've come back, because boy, they really took it hard during Katrina, but their campus is magnificent right now.
Man, it's a palace. It's a palace.
And if you ever have a chance to go over there and see what that situation is over there, take advantage of it. It will be well worth your while. We're at Nola Motorsports Park here with 640 acres of all kinds of motorsports activities, riding, go-karting, just an awesome place. And we'll talk about the event center later on as well. We'll be back on PRI. Welcome back to Nola Motorsports Park here in Avondale, site of the Grand Prix of Louisiana. What a great event that's going to be. We're very fortunate today, myself, Rick Gailey, your coach, along with our Prep Recruiting Insider, Renee Nadeau, to have Coach Eric Robato of the Holy Cross Tigers. First year taking over the program as the head coach, even though you've been there for quite a while. Eric, thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Great. First year head coaches, it's a lot different than being a coordinator. I believe you're the defensive coordinator.
Yes, I was the defensive coordinator at Holy Cross for 12 years under Barry Wilson, and get to right to the fire off the bat, this year. So we get an opportunity to show what we can do this year. That's
right. It's a much different position being a coordinator and going to head coach, because now all decisions have to come through you, or eventually, if you're not making the decision, you've got to give them the official okie dokie before they can do it. Right. And that can be a daunting task, can it?
You have to worry about every little detail across the board. Just when I was a defensive coordinator, you just had to worry about stopping people. Now you have to worry about the entire operation, and it's quite a handful, but it's been good. Been a real good experience so far.
Now you got preseason, Eric, behind you now, and you start on right off the bat with Jesuit next week. But at this point in the season, you start to get a feel for what your strengths and what your weaknesses are, what you need to work on. What do you feel like? Where's your team right now?
We're getting better. One of the things we thought at the beginning of the year was we knew we were placing 9 guys on defense. So we're trying to give our guys an opportunity in pre-district to get better each week, and they have. They've done a tremendous job of getting better. The guys are working, as hard as they can to get better. They're buying into what we're asking them to do, and that's been a good experience. Offensively, we've had a few guys that were returning, some standout players, and we're just counting on them to carry us through to district,
Because you're 3-1 right now.
We're 3-1.
Going into Bonneville. This week, Saturday afternoon, as a matter of fact, playing the Bruins. Lost your first game against Covington, but done quite well since then.
I thought the Covington game was a great experience for us. It was our first time really under the lights, and we started out slow, made a tremendous comeback during the game, almost pulled it off at the end, just fell a little short. But I thought that game taught us a little something that we can play. We're a good football team, and we can get better.
Something Rick and I both talked about, Eric, in the pre-show earlier, is that Holy Cross had to go through so much to get where it is now, the location, but sports has played a big part of the success of the school. Football, wrestling, basketball, baseball. Talk about how really it's been a rallying cry with sports, is really how much of an impact it's played.
When Katrina happened, we had a meeting in Baton Rouge, and we talked about the possibility of starting up school again that year. And we first had an enrollment of, I think it was approximately like 30 to 50 students said they would come back. The minute we announced that football was coming back, that enrollment jumped up to 250 students right off the bat. So it just tells you how much sports really mean to our community, Holy Cross, but New Orleans, the New Orleans community as well.
And we're certainly going to want to get into the facilities and how that's been developed over the years into what's a model. In fact, let's go there right now.
Right.
I mean, just an incredible job that the Holy Cross community has done, not just rebuilding a school, but making it an example for others.
It's the Taj Mahal of athletic complexes, if you think of it that way. When a lot of times you see plans on how a building is going to be, and it doesn't quite live up to it, this is the exact opposite. Everything we saw with the original plans, and it's been better. It's an unbelievable facility. We've had New Orleans Saints football players come lift at the facility. It just tells you what type of place we're talking about. So it's a great place to be. Not just the athletic complex, all the buildings are state-of-the-art buildings. It's a great place to be. I wouldn't have been there this long if it wasn't a great place to be.
This is a recruiting show, Eric, and in recruiting you have been a player and everything yourself. The process has really kind of evolved to something different now. Social media has had to play a big part in this. Right. So kind of, how do you oversee as a coach now the whole process with your players and recruiters and everything that goes on the side?
We try our hardest because it has changed. Even in my 18 years of coaching, it's changed from that time here. So we're constantly on them about what's the correct rules on how they can contact you. We have parent meetings and we inform them. Mike Chick, who's a real top recruit for us this year, that we brought in his family, talked to him about expectations. So we try to personalize the information. We try to just make sure they're aware of, the good parts and the bad parts of the recruiting process.
Because there's so many people outside of the school that try to get involved in recruiting now. That's been the biggest change, and I think it can be dangerous. I mean, I see what's happened in basketball nationwide. At the high school is pretty much out of the recruiting process in basketball, and the high schools have really got to step in and not take control of the situation, but they've got to lead the recruiting situation because there's a bunch of people on the sidelines that want to get their hands involved.
Absolutely. And our job as high school coaches to protect those guys. And just remember, they are 17 years old, and the experiences they've had are not quite what we've had, so we know the game, and it's one of those things of protection of the kids.
I know the ultimate goal, you want to be playing the very last weekend in December.
Right.
How good can this team be, Coach?
We have some talent. We have the ability to make a move this year. Our goal has always been focused on the next week. You know, so right now all we're concentrating on is mineable. You know, we're taking it day by day, really taking practice by practice, to be honest. So we're just trying to get better each day, and that's where we're heading.
And it's pretty unique that the New Orleans Catholic League, which has now rebuilt itself completely. I think this is the first year, Eric, that I've seen, because I remember what the old Catholic League was like. I'm old, I remember what a lot of old things are like. And this is the first year, I think, that from top to bottom, the Catholic League is really the Catholic League, which also bodes well for the playoffs in a sense, because even though you're adding Curtis and Turlings and St. Thomas More, it's still very heavily Catholic League oriented.
It's you read the paper every Saturday morning and you find out the scores, and we've noticed everybody's winning, and that's a great thing for the Catholic League. I grew up a little kid wanting to play in the Catholic League, so I you know what it's all about, and we're trying to introduce that to our guys. And it was a shame we had to break up for a few years, but we're back together, and it's heading in the right direction.
In the last minute or so, Eric, you've had some coaches you've played under, Jay Roth, Barry Wilson.
Yeah.
What coaches have really impacted the way you are as a coach?
All of them. You know, I started out at Ridgewood Prep with a guy by the name of Steve Strapola, and he was an unbelievable mentor. He really got me into it, and coaching wise. You know, I believe Jay, his organization skills are, you know, he deserves all the credit what happens at Rummel. He's the guy that makes the whole thing, you know, tick over there. And then Barry has been the best mentor you ever could have. He has really just guided me the past, you know, 12 years. It's great he's still right down the hallway where, you know, I can throw some, you know, questions off and see what he has to say about it.
Well, Coach Roboto, thank you for being here today. Thank you for having your great players here as well that we're going to meet in the next segment. We're here at Nola Motorsports Park in Avondale in the Event Center, 34,000 square feet of meeting facility for your next big event. Players up next on PRI. Welcome back to Prep Recruiting Insider, PRI, here at Nola Motorsports Park in Avondale. I'm your coach, Rick Gailey, along with our Prep Recruiting Insider, Renee Nadeau, and we're very fortunate this afternoon to have two of the great Holy Cross athletes. First, wide receiver Michael Chigbu of the Holy Cross Tigers, and running back Trey Turner. Welcome, fellas, to PRI.
Thank you.
Michael, I guess I got to ask you, because people out there know that you've already committed. You had a lot of offers from Miami and Notre Dame and Clemson, Mississippi State, Auburn. Why Georgia? What was it that a bell went off and told you this is a place I need to be?
My final decision between Texas A&M and Georgia, I took both my visits, unofficial visits, and I was at Georgia. It was just something about it just separated from the others I've been to, such as Auburn. I had a great time with the coaches, the offense. I just feel like our recruiting class is going to be the class that make it different. I feel like we could be really good in the long run. I just felt like it was the best place to be.
Now, you're a big guy. You're 6'2", about 210, 215, so that's got to, in that size, that the big physical receiver, and I think that's something that had attracted coaches' attention.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Trey, you're a junior.
Yes, sir.
And the thing that jumps out right away is the speed. You've run a 4.35, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Wow. And the thing about you with the recruiting process, you still have a ways to go, but watching Michael go through this, how has it kind of maybe helped you knowing what you're going to be going through in just another year or so?
I mean, Michael's been really humble about it and about how he's made his decision and stuff like that, so, and how he chose the best fit for him, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and see the college and choose the best fit that's for me.
And Rick's got some questions, but there's some schools that you kind of got your eye on that's been contacting you that you're interested in right now.
Yes, sir. Mississippi State, Arizona State, they've been really high. ULL, they're going to let me play both baseball and football. So they're really high on my list too. And then LSU's showing a lot of interest now in Auburn.
Now, y'all were in a very interesting situation this year that you had some experience coming back offensively. The defense had 9 new starters. We have 2 of your defensive players on in the next segment. But the offense really had to get started early to try to carry the team. Trey, let's start with you. With that special responsibility, what were some of the things that you had to work on and show the team that you could do?
I just had to be a leader, show with my actions how you have to play and how you have to play hard. And me coming back, I mean, I played a little bit last year, so coming back and starting this year, I had to show that I'm ready and have them come behind me and have them ready too.
And Michael, you were a well-established player coming in, but you had to really show all your total skills to be able to lead the football team.
Yes, sir.
And what were some of those skills? If you're going to convince me that I need to have you on my team, what are you going to tell me?
My competitiveness, my attitude, my size, my speed. I just try not to take any plays off. Just show them what I can do. And like, it's no matter, even if you make a mistake, just come back the next play and do it the best you can.
And that includes during practice time as well.
Yes, sir.
People who aren't connected with football don't realize how much dedication it takes during the course of the week, because in football, maybe more than any other sport, you play like you practice.
Yes, sir.
Now you, Michael, you played basketball and football, and you've only played football for a couple of years now. How has the basketball experience helped you translate into football skills?
The biggest thing is like rebounding, going up for the ball. That's probably the best thing. My agility, the stamina, that's helped a lot, actually.
I guess the two things that, since you haven't been in football long, is your route running and your blocking. How is that? How would you grade yourself as a blocker and a route runner?
From last year to this year?
Yes.
I've improved a lot.
How so?
Last year I was probably about a C. This year I give myself a B, not a B plus, but a B. Every practice I work hard to block from my running back Trey and all my receivers. And my route running, I got to make everything precise just to help my team.
And Trey, something you talked about is baseball. That's something that's real important to you. Yeah. You really want to play both sports. You're an outfielder, hard-hitting outfielder.
Yes, sir.
Is there sometimes that you just want to be a baseball player and sometimes you just want to be a football player?
I mean, during this, like, they have their certain seasons, like football season, I'm focused on football, and baseball season, I'm focused on baseball. Neither of them outweigh each other, so it's just both of them correlate with each other very well. I just like playing both of them.
Now, we all have favorite teams or favorite players when we're growing up. Sometimes just because we like the way they play, sometimes we model our conduct after what they've done. Trey, you first. Did you have a special team or team that you really enjoyed or pulled for as you were growing up, or perhaps a player that you modeled yourself after?
I really liked Reggie Bush. I mean, he's fast, he has good size and good agility, and he's a very powerful back, so I kind of model myself after him.
Great. And Michael, what about you? Had a team that you followed or a player?
Player, Des Bryant. Des Bryant and Michael Crabtree, but mostly Des Bryant.
And what did you like about Des Bryant?
His attitude. I feel like me and him kind of have similar attributes. His attitude, his competitiveness, his emotion for the game, his love for the game. It's just very attractive.
This year, you're a senior, you're a junior, but what telltale sign, Michael, is it that this could be a special year for you guys, that you might be playing along into the playoffs? Is there something happened in off-season, summer, or something happened thus far this year?
Coach Robaldo just came out. He was focused on making the team better and having the players follow what he's doing, like buy into what he's doing. And I think that's really helped us this year going forward, to buy into what he's doing. He has a good thing going for his team, and it's going to really help us go forward in the playoffs.
Michael, anything you feel like this offense has developed maybe a lot since last year, that this could be a special year for you?
Yeah, so we had a lot of doubters, but over the summer we worked hard all summer and all in our camp. And we saw like glimpses of what we could really, like what our potential could be. So I'm just waiting for us to put it all together.
Now we have the last couple of minutes here. I'm going to ask both of you, because practice, as we talked about, is so important. Trey, tell us what you've done well so far in this coming season, but what you're going to work on for the rest of this week getting ready for the Bonneville Bruins.
I've done well running hard between the tackles and using my speed to get to the outside, because last year I thought I didn't use my speed enough to get to the outside, so I've done better doing that. And coming up this game, I'm just going to try to do the best I can to help lead my team to the win.
And we're getting to see some video of you. Running hard is important, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You know, and that's something that sets the example. That sets the tone for the rest of the team, is your physicality. Michael, what are you going to be working on getting ready for the Bonneville Bruins this week?
Blocking. Every play I got to go hard. Got to show my potential. Running the perfect routes. Just being there for my team whenever I can. Do what I have to do to win.
Now, Michael, you got a little size, but you got a little extra gear a little bit. So you got some pretty good speed. Since you've committed, are you kind of challenged by some cornerbacks? They think they can shut you down. You know, they want to challenge you a little bit.
Yes, sir. I mean, I like it.
How do you handle that?
I like the competition. They usually have bracketing. Most of these past games we played, these are bracketing me. I just think I take it on as a challenge. Even if I'm not getting the ball, I see what I could do to get open. So when it does come to me, I know exactly what to do and how to use my routes.
Well, Michael and Trey, thank you for being here today. You're terrific representatives of Holy Cross Tigers. Holy Cross men, there's two great examples right there. We are at Nola Motorsports Park, home of world-class karting, where you could show up every afternoon and ride and just have a great time. Hopefully, these guys will have a chance today, but they will in the near future to have that experience as well. This is Prep Recruiting Insider. We'll be right back with two more terrific Holy Cross Tiger athletes. Next Friday, October the 10th at 7 o'clock, the first NBC Prep Showcase, Holy Cross and Jesuit. That will be live next week at 7 o'clock, and we're so very fortunate to have two terrific Holy Cross athletes getting ready for Bonneville this week and the rivalry and the start of the Catholic League season next week as well. We have Adrian Richardson, a linebacker, multiple responsibilities this year because you have the experience to do that. And also Kyle Myers, a defensive back. Welcome to PRI, gentlemen. I'm going to turn the first question over to our Prep Recruiting Insider, Renee Nadeau.
Thank you very much. Adrian, I'm going to start with you. You're a guy that fills the gap pretty good, plays sideline and sideline, finds the ball pretty well. You have some schools that are looking at you right now. First, tell us some of the schools that have expressed some interest, and how is the process going? You have any visits, or when are you going to decide this is where I'm going?
Well, so I have schools like La Tech, ULL, McNeese, Delta State. They're looking at me heavily right now. I've just recently gone to La Tech for the La Tech versus Northwestern game. And last week, Northwestern wants me to go up and go see their homecoming game also. So I have a couple schools hitting me up, looking at me.
And when will the process, are you going to get it out the way quickly, or are you going to wait till signing day?
Depends, sir, who already offers first, and I'll talk to my mom about it and my coaches.
Okay, Kyle, you got great hips. I've seen you play before. You flip your hips pretty well, you cover your receivers, and you come up against the run pretty well, too. You're a junior. What are some of the schools looking at you right now, and how is the process going?
Well, I have two offers from Northwestern State and South Alabama. I'm being looked at heavy by Mississippi State, LSU, Missouri, and ULL.
And are you going to, would you be an early guy who wants to get it out the way, or do you want to go all the way through next year and see how the process?
I'm going to go all the way through next year and see how the process goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you two were in a very unique situation this year that you were the only two returning starters on defense. And so that means 9 of the 11 had to kind of catch up to bring the defense along. Done a good job, 3-1 right now, going into Bonneville. Adrian, you first, and then Kyle after that. Tell me about what you brought to the table as a team leader defensively to try to get that defense up to speed.
Well, I just have to let the guys know, it's not a rebuilding year, it's a reloading year. It's just another year we have to step up and go out there and fight. And I know personally when I was a sophomore, I was the only sophomore starting. So I had to let them know age doesn't matter. You have to just go out and play, no matter who you're going against.
Right. And Kyle, even though you're a junior, you had some good results last year. Tell me what you brought to the table.
Well, I just told the guys, don't come in nervous, being a leader in the secondary, I tell the guys, if you mess up, 100 miles per hour. Yeah.
And that's what practice is all about, isn't it? Making things
sir.
habitual. That's where you get over the nervousness. The game should be the least nervous part because you've worked so hard during the week. Talk about what you do at practice real quick, Kyle.
We go through drills, plays, go against the offense, Mike and all them. And we go over like stunts, assignments and all that.
And Adrian, it's your job to make sure that that's coordinated with the front, isn't it? Because it's not just, hey, we're going to play this defense and there's no adjustment.
No, I have to make sure everybody in the box is in the right spot and their checks and everything okay. Make sure everybody's going 100 miles per hour because with a young team, people like to think a lot, I just let them know, just play ball. That's what it all comes down to.
Now, we just had a couple of your teammates on. Iron sharpens iron. You practice against Trey and Michael every day. How does this help you as a defensive player in a competitive situation against Michael, Trey, and your rest of the offensive team?
I love it. I love it. Whenever Trey runs up the middle, I love it because we always beat each other. He might give me one day, I might give him the next day. Each play, I know it's going to be really good. That's how I like it. And
Kyle, you and Michael must match up pretty good. How does that help you?
Yep. It helps me a lot going into playing an SEC type receiver. And we go at each other every day. He wins one play, I win the next one. And it's nice competition. Love it.
So Adrian, the defense that you play, you're doing a lot of things, much more than you used to do in the past. What's your favorite thing to do on defense?
My favorite thing to do?
Yes.
Attack the run. Yes, sir. I love going and downhill and hitting up the run. I like pass drops also. I like to use my speed, and sideline to sideline is also very well.
But there's nothing like putting the ball carrier on the ground.
Oh, yes, I love it. Knocking somebody down and helping back up. Yeah, I love it.
That's right. Does your mama know you're out here?
My mom's crazy than me. Last year when I caught a pick six, she got to the end zone before me. So, yeah. Yeah.
How good is that? And Kyle, talk about you and your responsibility on defense, whether you prefer man or zone, or what do you like doing most of all on defense?
I like going to take the ball in the air. Love it. See the ball in the air, I know I got to get it. And I like playing man, but zone is like our favorite, so either one,
Ultimately, whether you're playing man or zone, it's go attack either the guy with the ball or go get the ball yourself.
Yes, sir.
Now, Adrian, what are you looking for in a school that'll tell you this is a place I need to be? Is there a feel or what exactly is a curriculum, or what exactly are you looking for?
Well, personally, I like aggressive coaches that are very hands-on, and I'm not going to say I like getting yelled at, but I know when a coach yells at me, they want me to get better and everything like that. So I kind of want to have a bond with the coaching staff that knows that they want to push me, and a school that likes winning and doesn't settle for anything less.
Kyle, you've had a chance to watch some other guys get recruited, Michael and some of the other guys. How is it helping you, and what are you looking for in a school?
Helping me looking at those guys, going through the process, and I'm looking for a school coach that's going to work with every little detail, the little things, and just help me become better every day.
Well, gentlemen, thank you all for being here today, Adrian and Kyle. Two more terrific Holy Cross Tigers, two more great examples of Holy Cross men. We are here at Nola Motorsports Park in Avondale, Prep Recruiting Insider, PRI, in the Event Center. What a great place for you to come for your next big event. I can assure you they will do an outstanding job for you. We will be right back with the Lamarck Legend of the Game right after this short timeout. Welcome back to PRI, Prep Recruiting Insider. I'm the coach of PRI, Rick Gailey, and here with our Prep Recruiting Insider, Renee Nadeau. And this is the Lamarck Legends of the Game. We like to thank the Lamarck Motor Car Company for their support of this segment. Ronnie Lamarck and the brothers, Dennis, Timmy, and Tommy, can satisfy your automotive need, whatever you need, they could take care of. They take great pride in that. And we're very fortunate today to have as a legend of the game, former Holy Cross player. Well, I guess you're never a former Holy Cross player, are you? Once you're a Tiger, you're always a Tiger. Richard Lyons, thanks for being here today. We appreciate this segment on PRI.
No, thank you guys for having me.
Great. Tell us about the decision that you had back when you were looking at schools to be able to go to Holy Cross, and what attracted you to them? Because you were living in Laplace at the time. I know your mother and father very well, living in Laplace, and that's always a big decision where you want to go to school, and that entailed a big commute from Laplace to where Holy Cross was at the time.
Right. Well, it's a funny story. Well, not really funny, but some of the Holy Cross guys might not like it. And my whole family always went to Jesuit. That's where that's where my uncle went. That's where my cousins went. They went to Jesuit, and I wanted to go to Jesuit, right? Coming from Christian Brothers, that was where everybody was going. So I applied to Jesuit. So I applied to Jesuit and did not get in for 8th grade, right? But they said, hey, you'll be able to get in 9th grade. And Christian Brothers didn't have an 8th grade, so I had to go somewhere for 8th grade. And I went and visited Holy Cross, and that's where my other cousin, who also applied to Jesuit, who didn't get in, said, okay, that's where we're going to go. And I'm starting to think it was because of the references we put down for the people who went to Jesuit ahead of us, which is probably the same thing would happen if my son applied to Holy Cross. They'd say, I don't know if we want another Richard Lyons here. But it was funny, so I went there, and the plan was just to go for a year and then go to Jesuit with the rest of my friends. But after just one short year, within the first 2-3 weeks, I knew I was never leaving Holy Cross with the tradition that they had, the camaraderie that the football team brought, and just the way the seniors treated you was just an awesome experience and something I'll never forget. And now it makes that Holy Cross Jesuit rivalry so much more sweet.
That's right, because God acts in mysterious ways, and we don't always know the plan, but when he lays it out for us, it's best if we follow it.
You're exactly right.
You went through the recruiting process, and kind of tell us a little bit about why Kentucky. What options did you have, and why did the light go off for Kentucky?
Right. When it came to recruiting, it really was a no-brainer for me. I grew up a Kentucky fan. My dad played at Kentucky. Every time, I didn't look into colleges as much as everybody else. I never really watched college football. I only watched a Kentucky LSU game. And 1999, when we beat them, when Quentin McCord did the reverse, that's what I thought. I thought Kentucky was just always better than LSU, right? That was like the last known game I watched of Kentucky LSU. And then the Jared Lorenzen game, obviously, what do they call it? The Hail Mary pass, the Bluegrass Miracle, right? That's when I was already committed. But Kentucky was just always a no-brainer for me, so it's hard for me to give advice to kids on where to go, because I just felt a connection to Kentucky. I always wanted to go to Kentucky. I went up for a camp. Luckily, I was talented enough that they offered me a scholarship, and I got to go where I always wanted to go as a kid. So that was a dream come true, to not have to worry about what schools offered you, where do you want to go, this versus that. It was just, I was very blessed to get to go where I actually truly wanted to go.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about Kentucky as we go forward, but in looking back at the preparation Holy Cross gave you in being a college preparatory school, but also the number of sports that you were able to play, because you're a multi-sport athlete. In fact, I believe you played soccer as a young man, and you still play golf. And even on the football field, you did a lot. You caught passes, you returned kicks, you even punted for a while. Talk about the experience of being multifaceted as an athlete and the experience that Holy Cross gave you.
When it came to playing multiple sports at Holy Cross, I'm a firm believer in you have to play all the sports, right? But Holy Cross had a good coach, Coach Roboto, who was my DB coach at the time, right, when I was playing football. He was the track coach, right? So the track correlated to playing football, but then I got to spend more time with Coach Roboto, and we'd have a lot of talks, and they're talks that I still remember to this day that molded me into a man, and just is another reason why you love Holy Cross so much, because you get these experiences from the people who you know are going to be around, because that's Holy Cross's tradition, is we're a family. So I feel a very strong connection to Holy Cross because the coach that coached me is still there, right? Handed down from the head coach, Coach Barry, right? The offense coordinator was my wide receiver coach. So you have this very strong connection still to your school because of the family. And shoot, that's what all my teachers and all my coaches. So getting back to the question when it came to playing multiple sports, wrestling, I did that and I broke my shoulder, and that was the end of that. But playing soccer did correlate to football with quick feet and cardio and just a whole bunch of things that the coaches made sure that you wanted to get that full experience of just a high school experience.
Now you know, Kentucky, people don't think of Kentucky as being an SEC power, but when you were there, you guys had 3 bowl appearances, had wins against Florida State,
Right.
Clemson, East Carolina, and LSU fans don't like to remember this, but 2007 triple overtime Kentucky win. What do you remember about that bowl and the LSU triple overtime?
You remember them as some of the best years of your lives, right? Best experience of your lives. Before I got there, they haven't been to a bowl in I don't know how long, and I got to go to 3 out of the 5 years that I was there. And then the last couple of years of my career, the guys who went to 4 straight bowl games were able to, they didn't know going to college and not going to a bowl game. I said, you do not want to experience not going to a bowl game, being at home during Christmas. But it was some experience that I still talk about with those guys today. The LSU game now, that probably tops them all for me when it came to coming home, being able to hold my head up high. I tried to find the bowl ring. I couldn't find it. My son, he threw him somewhere. I can't find it, but I wanted to show it because that was very important to us, was taking down a #1 team, and I try to go back to why Kentucky. You said why Kentucky. Everybody said, why are you going to Kentucky? Because I wanted to do something that's never been done, right? We went to 3 straight bowl games in a row. We won the 2 that I was in. We actually won 3 in a row that I didn't get to play in the last one from injury, but that will be remembered forever at Kentucky. And it was something that we have a strong fan base and that they're always going to remember that. And it's something that I'm proud of. And I don't think that I would have been able to make an impact other places. So it's really cool to have that experience.
Good. Well, we really appreciate you being here today, Richard. I know your mom and dad will be proud of it, and I'm proud of what you've done to yourself and your little boy, Richard Lyons III. You're looking at a proud papa in Richard Lyons Jr. Thanks for being here representing Holy Cross and Kentucky as well, a great representative. We're at Nola Motorsports Park here in Avondale, Louisiana. Prep Recruiting Insider, PRI. This is the Lamarck Legends of the Game with Richard Lyons Jr. Thanks to the Lamarck Motor Company. Go by and see them for your automotive needs. I guarantee that they'll satisfy everything that you need in buying an automobile. We will be right back on PRI. Welcome back to Prep Recruiting Insider PRI. I'm Coach Rick Gailey here in Avondale, Louisiana, Nola Motorsports Park, along with our Prep Recruiting Insider, Renee Nadeau. In April 2015, the initial Grand Prix of Louisiana here at Nola Motorsports Park, IndyCar racing, open wheel style. Here's why the Crescent City is looking forward to this spectacular event. Ooh.
We wanted to be in New Orleans because it's a great city. Our sponsors and our fans will want to be here, take in a great race and have a lot of fun. And New Orleans certainly has a reputation for putting on great events.
That's the key. This is something new and different for Louisiana. We know about Super Bowls and Final Fours and All-Star games, but to introduce IndyCar competition to Louisiana at a facility like this is not only is it unprecedented, but it's outstanding.
It's hard to be real specific about Indy racing, this, that, and that. It's been in the back of my mind, though, for 3 years. And it's very challenging to do, so you want to be careful with expectations. But you know, you have a dream, you have a vision, you go with it. You don't worry about odds, you just do it. And here we are, we're doing it.
We have some great cities that host IndyCar racing, so St. Petersburg, Florida in spring break is a magnet for kids. Young people love that race. Then we go to Long Beach, California, right around the marina. It's shimmering, great venue. These are all places that our sponsors and our fans want to be in, and New Orleans fits right in the middle of that group.
The track as designed was not a hardcore racing track. It was designed to be a general purpose track. So we looked at a couple little areas where with modifications, we believe we'll have the most competitive track in the whole country. You know, we have 4 clear passing zones on every lap. There are 4 opportunities for one car to pass another. And these Indy guys are very talented, very aggressive. They're in virtually identical cars. And there's going to be a lot of passing, a lot of action. We're excited about that.
And for the investment that the state has made, we've got a 3-year commitment that it'll be here, and I guarantee it'll be here long beyond that. I would expect New Orleans to be a second only to Indianapolis as a destination for IndyCar in America. The facilities here are great, and when they get a dose of New Orleans hospitality and the food and music and the ambiance of Jefferson Parish and Orleans Parish, they're going to be here to stay. This is a great day for the state of Louisiana and for tourism. It translates into jobs, which is what tourism is all about, and into taxes are going to be paid by people who are going to descend on Nola Motorsports and leave behind a lot of tax revenue for the state of Louisiana.
There'll be a lot of planning, selling tickets, getting sponsorships, designing the temporary facilities. We'll have 30,000, 40,000 people here Sunday, race day. We'll have 4 days of activities. It'll be temporary grandstands, high end, like at a fancy golf tournament. So the grounds are being designed right now as we speak and work on it.
Good, and tickets are going on sale later this fall, Renee, for this spectacular event. I mean, I know my wife is even excited about it, that we're going to be here to see what real open wheel racing is about. You want to join the preferred subscriber list, go to gpofnola.com, join the preferred subscriber list, and get your tickets early for this event. It's going to be just incredible celebration of sport.
It'll be nothing like you've seen before in this area, and this is really going to introduce New Orleans to a sporting event that's been going on for a long, long time. But I think New Orleans would do it just like every other event we do here, like none other.
There's no place that puts on a celebration, that puts on an event like New Orleans, and this is going to be huge. They're talking about 80,000 people over the days of the event, April 10 through 12. Just absolutely spectacular. We will be right back with more Prep Recruiting Insider here from Nola Motorsports Park in Avondale, Louisiana. Promotional consideration for Prep Recruiting Insider is provided by Moe's Pizza, the best pizza on the West Bank. Stop by before or after the game at Moe's, 1112 Avenue H in West Wego. Check out their full menu online at moespizzanola.com and tell them you heard about it on PRI, and they also make a great muffalata. This weekend, we've got plenty of football action ahead of us. We've got the Prep Showcase starting Friday and Saturday that we're going to talk about in a minute. But Ken Trahan and I will also be doing Carr and Cox on Saturday. Where are you going, Renee?
I got the Squirrel Bowl. I have the Squirrel Bowl. I would be doing it for Fox. I got Buckeye, I don't make this stuff up, and Holy Savior Menard. So it'll be very interesting heading up to Alexandria tomorrow for the game on Thursday night. So it'll be interesting.
And the first NBC Bank Prep Football Showcase starts out with a bang. First of 2 games, Hornville at Destrehan, Friday live stream on sportsnola.com. Saturday, the replay at noon on WHNO TV 20. And then Saturday live, once again on sportsnola.com, John Curtis and St. Augustine. 2 great matchups, and that replay will be on noon, once again on WHNO TV 20. Can't have 2 better games than that. What a great start, a great end really to the pre-district season in those cases. And next week we will be full bore with district games as well.
And the next couple of weeks, we got great shows lined up. We got the Rummel Raiders, two of the best schools in the country. We got the Rummel Raiders next week coming on, and the following week, Coach J.T. Curtis and the John Curtis Patriots. So two of the best schools in the state as well as the country will be on the next 2 weeks here at Prep Recruiting Insider.
And once again, we want to thank the Holy Cross Tigers and Coach Eric Robato for being here today and adding so much to the show. We've had a great lineup so far, Renee, and that's what you can expect every single week on PRI. And also catch us, if you're at a game, catch us on Ken Trahan's original Prep Football Report, starting with the countdown to the original at 6 o'clock from Bears at Gennaro's. The original Prep Football Report, 7 to 11 Friday night. I'll be in studio with Ken Trahan. You'll get all of the scores all night. Thanks for being here with us on Prep Recruiting Insider. You can expect the same week after week after week. It doesn't get any better than this for you. Thank you so much once again on Prep Recruiting Insider, PRI from Nola Motorsports Park in Avondale.